An icon, a visionary, an educator, and a Yankee who scrubs up well. Those are just a few of the things Bob Kabat has been called in his 50 years of service to rural electric cooperatives in the United States and around the world. Born in Somerset, Pennsylvania in 1925, Bob and his sister Dorothy moved to Pittsburgh to live with their grandparents after the family's store failed during the Depression. Here he was no stranger to hard work and long hours, laboring in his grandfather's store after school and doing homework late into the night. He earned numerous scholarship offers and chose Oberlin College, leaving Pittsburgh with a new suit and a few $100s, all donated by various family members. During World War II, Bob left Oberlin to serve his country in the Merchant Marine, where he guarded ammunition shipments in the Pacific and oil tankers crossing the Atlantic. He survived this hazardous duty and was offered a place at Kings Point, the prestigious Merchant Marine Academy. Of the 48 students in his class, Bob was one of only 8 who graduated. After earning his B.S. from Kings Point, he returned to Oberlin to study political science, sociology, and economics. He also found both his first and second loves, though not necessarily in that order. He began his interest in public power, writing papers on the TVA, while in the autumn of 1948 he met Lois Ann "Sandy" Elmore. The two were married on September 11, 1949, and the next day Bob, Sandy, Bob's sister Dorothy, her husband, and his brother all piled into one car and set off for New York. He was about to start his fellowship at the Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs at Syracuse University. After graduate school, Bob was offered a job as manager of the Oneida Madison Electric Co-op in upstate New York, one of the country's most troubled co-ops. Oneida Madison had been operating in the red for its entire 8-year existence, losing 30% of its electricity to poorly insulated wires and not even metering some of its members. Before accepting the job, Bob insisted on meeting with the board president. Even then, board-manager relations were paramount to Bob. After accepting the position, he began overhauling the co-op. One day, he found a wad of cash in the company safe that wasn't accounted for, and another morning he came to work and found all of his linemen asleep in their cars. Clearly, something needed to be done. With a special dispensation from the REA, Bob hired Sandy as the co-op's bookkeeper, and together they set out on a clean sweep of the co-op, firing the lax linemen, improving service, and collecting bills. When Bob went to the REA New Managers Conference, Bill Wise, the deputy administrator of REA, introduced Bob to the crowd by saying, "You think you've got it hard. You should see what the manager of New York 48 did." Within a year, Bob and Sandy had the co-op operating in the black. Soon Bob began speaking out about hydroelectric projects like Niagara and St. Lawrence, trying to ensure they stayed in public hands. It wasn't long before his efforts got him noticed. In 1953, Clyde Ellis recruited Bob to come work for NRECA. In the midst of a blizzard, Bob and Sandy relocated to Washington, D.C., where Bob served as NRECA's legislative assistant and Sandy worked for WCFM, Washington's cooperative radio station. It was here that Bob's true legacy of education and training was born. Bob knew that greater professionalism in the field was a must, and that co-op managers and boards needed national training in order to run their co-ops better. So Bob organized the first of many education and training seminars, and more than 120 people attended. Ever since, he has tirelessly worked to give people the tools to better organize, run, and manage their co-ops. In 1957, Bob was named director of NRECA's newly formed Management Services Department. In his new role, he worked one-on-one with boards dealing with issues of governance, compensation, and board manager relations. He even settled feuds that had lasted for years. In the mid-1960s, Bob founded a university-based training course, the Management Internship Program, to train new managers. Upon Bob's retirement, this program was renamed in his honor. Today, nearly 25% of all U.S. electric co-op managers have attended the program, and many more have attended meetings and seminars that Bob has led. Bob made his mark internationally as well. In the early 60s, the Kennedy administration wanted to export the co-op model to developing countries as a way to help others and spread democracy. Bob was vital to this effort. He was there at the signing of bills with Kennedy and later LBJ, and soon was heading up NRECA's international program. Today, the NRECA International Foundation has helped more than 70 million people in 49 countries, thanks in part to Bob's early work in developing the program. Bob's leadership, loyalty, and innovative thinking has been sought by consumer organizations beyond the rural electric sector as well. He has served as an advisor to the boards of CARE, the Consumer Federation of America, the National Consumers League, and the Cooperative Development Foundation, among others. Bob Kabat's commitment to the cooperative model continues to this day. Though retired from NRECA, he still works closely with them, advising co-ops like First Rochdale on bringing the principles of rural electricity to New York City. Without a doubt, Bob Kabat's dedication to helping others and improving the world has inspired many, including his 3 daughters, to hold true to his values. For this, as well as his tireless efforts to improve the rural electric cooperative sector, we honor Bob Kabat tonight.